three-day conference which was held recently at the UN in the United States in New York. Big ideas will be met together in new media to create innovative solutions to everything in life. We're almost delighted to be joined by Dr. Ahmed El Garhy, one of the participants of this three-day session and among the UN youth, and he is the UN youth ambassador to the world. Good morning, Dr. El Garhy.
Good morning.
A very good morning to you, Doctor. Let's talk a bit about this Social Good Summit, what it entails. Give us a bit of a background and historical perspective to the summit.
Okay, this comes as one of the events organized during the United Nations Week. We saw the summit where the Egyptian delegation was there in the United Nations premises in New York. So this one of the many events organized during that week. This summit is used to be held on annual basis in different places around the world. And basically in this Social Good Summit, they ask people with personal experiences to come and talk about it, things that would affect and have a reflection on the entire world. So this year's summit was in New York.
Right. It seems that they were very selective of their choices of their ambassadors and the participants and everything, because only 150 were chosen, right? Among the nationalities from the world. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, this is to be a UN Youth Ambassador. We were chosen 150 amongst more than 40,000 applicants who were eligible to apply.
40,000 and 150 chosen?
Yes, 40,000 were eligible to apply. The number was way bigger than that, but they were not eligible to apply.
What's the criteria?
There are many criteria for that. The one main big criteria is the ability to have an impact on the local society through entrepreneurial activities, through the participation in social activities around in the region in general, and being a future leader in your country and the organization that you represent, and also being able to engage others in the social activities that you do for the good of the local societies. When you sum all these things together, you have a wave of leaders around the world that are capable of taking the world forward.
Right. Dr. Ahmed, let me talk a bit about some of the main issues that you discussed during the summit. I mean, it says big ideas meeting social media to create innovative solutions. So let's talk a bit about what this entails. What were the topics that were under discussion, the highlights of the conference?
Well, this year's summit was very interesting because it tended to engage the technological with for the social good of of people. So they discussed many things related to the use of technology in fighting diseases like malaria in Africa. They came out with an idea where in countries like Nigeria, they have millions of people that are affected by the malaria. And unfortunately, 97% of the drugs over there that are used to cure this disease are fake. So, and this what makes the problem
chronic.
Exactly. So what happened is that they developed this software where people over there, when they buy the bottle of the medicine that they are going to use, they just put on the serial number of it and they send it via text message for free, and then this software would automatically scan and tell if this drug is valid or not, and then it will reply back, yes, you can use this, or you cannot. So this is one of the things. The second thing is that they said that in the upcoming probably 10 years, there will be a cure for the AIDS. So this is something for, again, for the sub-Saharan African countries, where 69% of the AIDS holders live there. This is extremely good news for them. On the other hand, they discussed the education and how important it is to have educated societies. And one of the guest speakers was Malala Yousafzai, the girl who was attacked by Taliban. She's impressive, in fact.
Have you met her?
Yes. And this week she's invited by Michelle Obama, to the White House. Yes. Malala was speaking about her experience and how did she fight against the rights of Pakistani girls to have legal, proper education. And she took her initiative forward, and she is currently in the process of formulating an organization that will promote for the education of girls all around the world. And in the same context, two girls from Guatemala, they were inspired by what happened with Malala as well. In Central American countries, they have the same perspective. They don't go for the education of girls specifically. So these two girls, they insisted on getting educated. They kept going on daily basis to the people, to the the sheriff of the place where they used to live, and they insisted on getting access to a school. And when they managed to do so and they were allowed into a school, many of their neighbors started doing the same thing, and they started a social movement in Central American republics. And what was mainly they were mainly inspired by Malala. At the same time, they were discussing how technology is affecting the modern education. So nowadays, in modern countries, they do not kids over there, they don't go to schools anymore with their bags. They go with their tablets and their iPads. Exactly. So this is something very important that must be supported by the governments. So the regular, normal, traditional education that we used to have is not anymore valid, and we have to move with the world. Otherwise, all the what we call the third world nations, the major difference between them and the first class nations is education. If you look at any other thing else, you'll find more or less they have the same. Especially in a continent like Africa, we actually have much more resources than any other continent in the world. But because of the conflicts and because of the ignorance and the lack of education, we tend to give the raw materials to the modern world, and then they manufacture and then sell it back to us. Exactly. And actually, there was that guy. He was one of the speakers. He was from the UK. He's a photographer for the conflicts in Western Africa, specifically in Democratic Republic of Congo. And he was talking about over there, this area is very rich with gold, and that's why they have bloodsheds over there, because everybody is fighting for the gold over there. And plus that, the material that we use to make our laptops and the cell phones, from many of the minerals like the tin, for example, and the titanium, for example, they come from this area. So he was talking about that actually this modern technology that we have access to comes from conflict areas where people would kill each other to get access to these minerals. So at least these people must have access to the technology after being manufactured, and he was promoting that for Africa. One other thing that was discussed during the summit was water. Actually, more than 1 billion people around the world, they don't have proper access to clean water, to the extent that they might spend 8 hours a day just to get water. So imagine your day when you spend 8 hours just to get access to water. Like, this is the easiest thing for us, like I'm getting some water from the fridge. This is a process that would take a couple of seconds. Over there, they might spend 8 hours and it is not clean. So this gives an indication, for me, that was an indication that the next war in the region will be about water resources. Because 1 billion, this represents almost 15% of the world's population. So imagine that when they spend these long periods on daily basis to get access to non-clean water, so what happens if this water is clean? And especially the world is getting bigger and bigger, and the resources are getting less and less. So these were like some of the topics. And actually, one of the interviews was conducted by Al Gore, the ex-American vice president. Exactly, yeah. He was interviewing a guy. He was 19 years old. This guy did something very interesting. He went to the South Pole and he walked for 20 miles alone in minus 45 Celsius degrees for exploration. And he was 15 years old back then. That was a part of a school project.
Wow.
This gives you an insight how these people
Or a punishment, a detention?
No, I don't
Clearly
think so.
not.
So imagine when people at the age of 15 or 16, they go and do such exploration projects. This guy is now preparing himself to go to the space in the upcoming 2 years. And actually, Al Gore asked him, where do you see yourself in 50 years from now? I was like, can I reply? I think he will be like the new John Kennedy. This is the kind of generations and leaders that they build. So he was talking from a perspective of how can we use the resources over there in the South Pole to enhance the standards of living around the world.
Indeed.
Yeah.
A lot to learn.
Dr. Ahmed
lot
El
to learn.
Garhy,
Exactly.
the UN Youth Ambassador, would like to thank you very much for this valuable information. Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much. One final thing, just want to say, it's a
Sure.
quote by Al Gore. He said, "One man with courage is a majority."
Yeah,
Great. Indeed.
exactly.
Indeed.
Dr.
I
Ahmed
guess-
El Garhy, thank you very much for joining us.
And I
You're
guess
welcome.
this is where we end this edition of the Breakfast Show. I'm Dina Hussein. I'm still Dina Hussein.
Till tomorrow.
And that was Angie Meher. And we both wishing you a beautiful Eid al-Adha, Greater Byram. And please join us again tomorrow morning.
Indeed, tomorrow morning. Till then, it's goodbye.